Hey everybody, welcome. This is Stevie Breach. I'm coming to you live from the GoHastings.com Wrestle Center. Today we're going to be talking about the WWE Spinner title. Yeah, come on. In a recent interview, John Cena, everybody's favorite wrestler on YouTube it seems, he made some pretty good quotes. A lot of the quotes when the interview first came out was mostly about the Bryan Danielson situation. Cena was saying that they probably made a mistake. They let the guy go and they listened to the wrong people. And he was sort of saying that they shouldn't listen to their critics and they should bring this guy back. He's a guy that everybody wants to have in the locker room, and he should be there because the fans want him. And he's mostly begging the fans to go sign a petition and just fill the arenas and let their voice be heard, and hopefully the right thing will happen. But also in that interview was a statement he made about the Spinner title. He said the Spinner title was out of date and it just didn't fit anymore. He said that he wished they would move on in another direction. The Spinner belt came around in 2005 when he won the championship for the first time. They gave it to him. He had people working with him to get his character over, and basically he got to Vince and he said, "This is what's going to help me with my rapper gimmick that he had at the time." All the rappers in the music videos on the MTV, they all had the big gaudy necklaces and they always spun. That was just what it was. It was all about spinning rims. I got tornadoes on the truck, man. But basically, I think he's right. I think it's time for the WWF to bring back a classic title. If you look back through the times, there's the 1986 title. The 1986 title was the title that Hogan first won. He won it from the Sheik. And they used it for a couple years, but the main problem with the title is it didn't look real. It looked like a belt that you'd find on a toy figure these days. It was real small. Hogan really didn't wear it a lot. He held it a lot. I think it was mostly because of the size. It just got swallowed up by him. And they moved over. When they moved off of the 1986 belt, they moved to the Winged Eagle belt. The Winged Eagle belt is probably the most prestigious title that the WWF ever had. Had a real long run. Anybody who was a title holder through the Golden Era held this title. Hogan had it. You had Savage had it. Sergeant Slaughter. And if it even moved on to the new era, Bret Hart held it. Shawn Michaels held it. You had Psycho Sid. Stone Cold Steve Austin brought it into the Attitude Era. When Stone Cold won it, Stone Cold made his own variation. The Smoking Skull belt. The Smoking Skull belt basically was just his creation. I think they only really used it for one angle between him and The Rock, and they kept that title and merged it back into the Winged Eagle title till they came up with the new Attitude Era belt. The Attitude Era belt is the belt that they used mostly. Triple H held this title a lot around the WrestleMania 2000 is when they had it, and that's when he was really, he had his, they had the gimmick with him and McMahon, Stephanie McMahon. They were, ruling the WWF. They were in charge, so he had the belt a lot. Others were, The Rock had it. Stone Cold had his share with it. Kurt Angle won this belt for the first time. And I don't know, if I was able to buy a belt and I was going to do something with it, like buy a replica, not a cheap kid's belt. I have the Attitude Era belt on the wall. But if I was to buy a real one, this is the belt I would buy. It's sort of my favorite just because I'm a Triple H mark and I hold it close. at the end of the Invasion angle, they ended up having 2 belts at the time, and they wanted to get back down to 1. They still had Raw, they still had SmackDown, but this was before they did the brand change where they put people on one show and people on another, and they wanted to go back to the days where they just had 1 title, since there wasn't going to be a WCW anymore. They wanted to come up with an Undisputed Title. So Chris Jericho won what is known as he's known as the first undisputed champion of all time, but he is not the first person to have the undisputed title. The first person to have the undisputed title was after WrestleMania. Triple H beat him, and they unveiled the belt after that. Once they came up with that belt, it seemed like they wanted everybody to touch it. The belt changed hands like 3 times in 3 months. Triple H had it. He dropped it to Hogan. Hogan dropped it to Undertaker. That was 2002. 2002 is sort of the year of title changes, and in my mind, I just thought that they wanted to get that title over where they had people's names on it and say that that's who held their belt. But in other words. When I look at that title, I always think of Brock Lesnar as being the guy who held that belt. He really dominated when he got his hands on it, and it's just the champ when I think of. If they're going to replace the spinner belt, I missed. I think that they should go with the Undisputed Title. I think it didn't get its fair share. I don't think it really had its time. Somebody's got to have it. I'm sure they got it in the big WWF vault somewhere. Or Big Vince has got it in office. He broke out the $1 million title and brought it back for DiBiase. But the spinner belt these days, Cena's right. It just looks dumb. If Cena wants to bring it out of the closet every time he wins the belt, which is going to happen from time to time, it looks cool. When Edge won the title, Edge came up with his own, spinner belt thing, and that looked like this. Oh, wait a minute. That's not it. This. That was Alex, but I just like that. It's funny. It's his Facebook picture. But when other people win this title, like when Rob Van Dam held it, it just looks like a kid's toy. It makes you wonder, why are these guys fighting over some kid's toy belt? Randy Orton held the title for almost a year, 9 months, and I just kept begging him to change it. For some reason, he just kept coming out. And why would Randy Orton care about a spinning title? It just doesn't make sense. I think it's time they move on. And in my vote, I say bring back the Undisputed Title. What do you guys think? Let me know.